Hey guys, how's it going? Dudey, I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to delve into the I'm guessing the D is silent. The Dnepropetrovsk.
Just call them the three guys, one hammer boys or something.
How do you pronounce that? The
Dnepropetrovsk.
Dnepropetrovsk. Let me try one more time.
Dnepropetrovsk.
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 The Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. So Viktor Sayenko, Igor Saprunyuk, and Alexander Hanza collectively were known as the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. The three were Ukrainian and went on a killing spree that shook Ukraine to its core. They killed people sheerly for the thrill of it, but these three have been deeply disturbed for a very long time. Their killing spree lasted nearly 4 weeks, in which they killed 24 people, a police officer, they robbed people, they brutalized people, they tortured people. But it does have to be said that Hanza never actually involved himself in the killings, but he did involve himself in many of the other antics that these three were doing during this month of anarchy. So the three were born in 1988 to relatively wealthy and highly esteemed families. Their parents were very influential within their society, and the three attended school together. Between them they had several phobias, one of which was Hanza. He had hemophobia, which Saprunyuk decided to help Hanza get over by beating and torturing stray dogs. The three lads then proceeded to take pictures of them standing beside the corpses of the stray dogs that they just beat to death. They also had a fear of heights, so they decided to dangle their legs over balconies. You know, like you see these YouTubers that go on the side of buildings and just hang off the edge. These guys did this to get over their fear of heights. They were very extreme individuals, and they also were massive enthusiasts behind the Nazi cause. After they graduated from school, Sayenko and Hanzo went on to have jobs, but Saprunyuk didn't. He was unemployed, and then he decided to become an unlicensed, unofficial taxi driver. This inspired the trio to begin robbing and beating Saprunyuk's customers when they got into the taxi. He would drive them to a desolate location and where they would be robbed. Interestingly, some of the people that were robbed in this initial kind of crime spree of robbing taxi passengers, some of those passengers later on wound up being the victims of the Dnepropetrovsk. I'm so sorry that I'm butchering this.
Just call them the three guys, one hammer boys or something.
Maniacs. On the 1st of March 2007, Hanza committed 2 armed robberies, which he would later be charged for. For the rest of this video, just because their names are quite difficult to pronounce for me, I'm going to call Hanza Han, Sayenko Say, and Saprunyuk Sup. So Han, Say, and Sup, okay? So eventually Say and Sup decided that the robbery was too boring. It wasn't thrilling enough for them. So they escalated things whilst Han just carried on robbing, but was fully aware of what Sup and Say were doing. So Sup and Say decided to start murdering people. The first 2 murders took place on the 25th of June 2007. It was a 33-year-old woman who was just walking home from having dinner around her friend's house, and Sup and Say openly admitted they were just out for a walk. But the thing was, Sup had a hammer with him. As the lady walked past, Sup spun around and smacked her in the side of the head with the hammer. Her body was found by her mother at 5 a.m. It only took an hour after killing the lady for the 2 men to go on to kill someone else. Roman Tatarovich was actually asleep on a bench nearby the first murder. Tatarovich's head was smashed in so many times that he was rendered unrecognizable. The crazy thing was, the bench that the murder took place was actually across the road from the local public prosecution office. Fast forward to the 1st of July, 2 more victims. They were found in the nearby town of Novomoskovsk. 5 days later, 3 more people were murdered, this time in Dnepropetrovsk. One of the 3 was a recently discharged army recruit who was bludgeoned to death while walking home from a nightclub. His mother found him in the morning by the side of their apartment building. A 28-year-old night guard was then murdered. All she did was walk past them, and Sup had a hammer hidden under his shirt sleeve and struck her in the head as she walked past them. The night guard had been holding a bag of clothes. The boys took those clothes and used them to clean off the hammer that they just used to kill her with. That same night, they killed another woman, Valentina Hansa, no relation to Alexander Hansa. Again, they beat her to death with blunt objects. She left behind 3 children and a disabled husband. The next day, they found 2 14-year-old boys who were fishing, killed one of them, but the other managed to escape and run to the police. Now, apparently, it is reported that he denied counsel. The police actually initially believed the 14-year-old boy to be the murder suspect, and so they beat him, but then realised quickly after beating him that he was not in fact the killer. This was because the murder that he described was obviously connected with all these other bodies that had been found in the local areas. The boy cooperated and had sketches made of Sup and Say, which then of course went public. Later on that same day, however, a man who was disabled due to a bout of fighting cancer went missing on his motorcycle and was found 4 days later, beaten to death. A couple of days after that, a lady was riding her scooter out and about and was approached by 2 individuals and was knocked off of her bike. They bludgeoned her to death with a hammer and a pipe and then drove off on her scooter. Now, local witnesses did give chase to this, but they lost them, and so Sup and Say got away that day. But it was certainly a very close call. 12 more murders happened after the scooter incident. Often multiple bodies found in a singular day. So it's safe to say law enforcement were beginning to get very, very concerned. There didn't seem to be a pattern. There didn't seem to be, a particular MO. There didn't seem to be a particular target. There were children, there were elderly people, there were women, there were men. Often they were killed using blunt objects, hammers, steel construction bars, etc. Blows often to the face, making them unrecognizable when being identified. Savage, brutal attacks, mutilation, torture. Some victims had their eyes gouged out while they were still alive. One woman was pregnant and had her fetus removed from her womb. There were no sexual assaults reported on any of the victims, however. Often, though, the victims were robbed of their personal belongings, mobile phones, jewellery, etc. This grew very, very big, and reportedly there was over 2,000 investigators on this case. But what made them slip up was they pawned off everything that they stole. Now, they took a mobile phone to a pawn shop, and in order to pawn that phone, the owner of the pawn shop had to turn it on. And as soon as the phone was turned on, the GPS flagged up, the police were straight on it, and they actually got to the pawn shop, and Sup and Say were there at the cash register being paid just $30 US, whatever that is in Ukrainian dollars, but it worked out to be $30 US in 2007, so they were apprehended. Later on, Hansa was also apprehended. He was found flushing the stolen belongings that they had yet to pawn down the toilet. The 3 individuals were taken to court, of course, and Sup and Say were given life sentences for 21 counts of murder. Hansa, it turned out, didn't take part in any of the killings. However, he knew what they were up to. He participated in the robbery and a string of other crimes like animal cruelty, etc., and he got 9 years. He is actually released right now. Alexander Hansa is out there as of 2019, and apparently he's married with 2 children. Now, the thing that everyone knows about this case, even without perhaps realizing that it was the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs, is that the 3 guys, 1 hammer element of this, because their idea was, and their motivation apparently was, to film all of these killings and sell them for a lot of money. Apparently there was an online buyer through the dark web that wanted to purchase some videos of killing, some snuff films, for $40,000 US, and so there were videos of these killings, and one of which was the infamous 3 guys, One Hammer. I never saw it personally. I know it circulated, you know, when I was a kid, and lots of my friends saw it. A lot of the world saw it. Let me know down below if you saw the Three Guys One Hammer video. I don't know if it's still up. I'd imagine it's been copied and copied and copied and copied. It did go viral, and of course a viral video is very hard to kill online, as we all know. So yeah, they are the individuals behind the Three Guys One Hammer video. It was leaked. But apparently there were many more videos. There's lots of pictures and videos online if you Google them. I'm not going to put them up here today because I just don't feel comfortable with doing that. But yeah, it's these were very, very nasty people. You know, they killed people, they mutilated people, they robbed people, they killed animals, they tortured animals, they did lots of fucked up shit. And unfortunately one of them, although granted didn't kill anyone, one of them is released, and I do worry about that individual, I can't lie to you. But the other two should never see the light of day again, hopefully. So yeah, that in a nutshell is the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. It's the Three Guys One Hammer video, people. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Some of you may have eagle-eyed realised that I changed a beige hat for a beige beanie. That's because as I was editing this, I realised there was just so much more information, so much more detail I could put in, so I actually ended up filming this the next day. So this video has been split across 2 days. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Check out all my stuff down below. Also, literally just realised at the end of this that I didn't plug my microphone in because I'm an absolute fucking idiot. So this wasn't on, which means you've been listening to the base camera microphone. What a mess this video ended up being. But hit the like button anyway, it really helps me out. Hit that subscribe button. I'm not normally this unorganised, I promise. And yeah, I'll see you very soon. Sweet one, guys. Fucking hell.